Okay, so we're going to have a look at finger tapping. There's different forms of it, but we're going to do a nice easy one if you're new to it. A little classical piece sounds like this. Okay, so what's happening here is with this hand, you're not plucking it and you're not picking it with a plectrum. You're literally tapping it. So what I want you to do is, with your index finger on your strumming hand, I want you to, on the second string, I want you to tap the 12th fret. Now, you've got to hammer it, so you've got to give it some force. If I just touch it, see, there's no note. See, I'm just placing it on. I feel like I'm pushing it down hard, but it's not doing anything. So you've got to give it some whack. So, if that's a technical term. So there. So when you've done that, when it's down, you've got to pluck it off with this finger. So what's that? I'm not lifting it off because that doesn't create any noise, does it? So you've got to hammer, sort of flick the string. So when you're able to create a sound by hitting it and doing that, create some volume with it, then you're on the right track. Now your finger just stays on this fret, the 12th fret, during this first half of this song. So you're always going to be hitting on there. Okay, so I want to go through, we're just going to learn the notes. We're just going to pick it with our thumb. We're not going to do anything fancy. We're just going to pluck it for now. So I just want you to pluck on the second string, 10, 8, 7, 5, 4. So running down that little scale. 10, 8, 7, 5, 4. And it's good to memorise this, so when you come to tap it, it's easier. I'll explain what the little pluses are in a bit. Now from that 4, you want to go up to 5, 7, 8. So 5, 7, 8. So you're running down a little scale. And then back up and stop at 8. Okay. So 10, 8, 7, 5, 4, 5, 7, 8. Okay, so the next bit, I want you to go from the 0, 0, 2, 4, 5. So again, 0, 2, 4, 5. And then from that 5, you want to go back a step to the 4. And from that 4, you run up to that 8 again. So 4, 5, 7, 8. That's the last 4 notes there. So 4, 5, 7, 8. So from the 0, 0, 2, 4, 5. Back to 4, 5, 7, 8. So again, 0. So going from the first one, so from the 10, we're not doing any hammering yet, we're just plucking it with our thumb just to learn it. So 10, 8, 7, 5, 4, then back up, 5, 7, 8, then 0, 2, 4, 5, back down to 4, 5, 7, 8. So I'd just pause it there, get memorising that little number of events. And what I want to do is just take you through the very first start, what happens with the hammer on. So we start here on the 10, that's got to stay down there. I don't want you taking that off like this. That just stays there, keep that there. Now the first move, you're going to hammer the 12, like I said before, everything's going to be on the 12, so hammer it. And then you're going to flick it off the string, that's a pull off. And then you're going to hammer it again, like that. So that's your first move. So hammer, pull off, and hammer. And notice when I say hammer, I'm keeping it down. I'm not just lifting it off. So hammer, pull off, hammer. And when that's hammered down, that gives you freedom to move this then. So you move that to 8. When that's moved to 8, you pull it off and hammer it. And while that's down, while this finger's down, this moves to 7. And you pull it off, hammer it on. Move this to 5, pull it off, hammer it on. Move that to 4, pull it off, hammer it on. Move this to 5. See, you can move this and the noise doesn't get affected because this is blocking off any moving of frets. So let's start again. Keep this on 10. So you hammer, pull off, hammer. And while that hammer's down, you move to 8, pull off, hammer. Move it to 7, pull off, hammer. Move it to 5, pull off, hammer. Move it to 4, pull off, hammer. Back to 5, pull off, hammer. To 7, pull off, hammer. To 8, pull off, hammer. So when I say hammer, I want you to hold the hammer down. Then 0, so 0, hammer. Then to 2, then pull off, hammer. Then to 4, pull off, hammer. Then to 5, pull off, hammer. Back to 2, pull off, hammer. Then to 5, pull off, hammer. Then to 7, pull off, hammer. To 8. And at the end, you just hold the 8 like that. You don't hammer. So I'm going to do that slow. So by the time that finger's down, you got time to move this. So watch. Well, it's hard to do it slow. 0, and then hammer it, move to the 2. Back to 4, 5. And then pull off the 8 there. So the tricky bit, one of the tricky bits you might find is actually the very start bit and the 0. Because sometimes you don't view 0 as a note, you just view it as a 0, but it is actually a valid note. So when it comes to the 8 and you hammer on, take off your finger, do the 0 and hammer on. What normally happens is people go 0 and then they place the 2 on and then hammer. So you got to go 0 and then hammer and then place the 2. So from that 8, you want to hammer now the 12 that's on the first string. I'm going to show you now the full one of that line. So you can see in brackets you've got a 12 at the start, and that's the hammer with the plus. So instead of me writing 12 every time, I've just put a little plus sign because we know it's on the 12th fret because it stays on the 12th. So you do the hammer, then the 8, you hammer, and while it's hammered down, you move to the 8. Sorry, I should have said 10 there. So hammer on the 12, then you got the 10. Then you hammer it again, and while that's hammered down, you move to 8, 7, 5, etc, etc. So the last note you want to hear is this 8, because the next hammer's on the 12. It starts on the hammer. Okay, so you hear the 8, and then your next hammer's here on the 12, and you get that ready on 10. And you do exactly the same notes. $12 on the second string. Then hammer on this one. I know it might seem a bit tricky and it might seem a bit daunting to do it, but really once you've learnt it and you've learnt the coordination with the hammer and the pull off and then moving hands, I say that's all. That's what you've got to wrap your head around. Once you've done that, then it is easy to speed it up. You'll find it so easy to just speed it up quicker than you think. But it is good fun. It's one of them, once you learn it, like my son plays it, and every time he picks up his guitar, he does his finger tapping because it's good fun. It sounds great. All right, hope you enjoy that. Thanks, bye.